I manifested $1 million in 6 months, but I never imagined what would happen next. 38 years old, 3 different shifts at the warehouse, and all I had to show for it was a pile of overdue bills on my kitchen table. The sound of the forklift still echoed in my ears as I got home that cold January night. I opened the door to my small apartment and was greeted by 3 more red envelopes under the door. I sat on the worn-out couch, the one I bought on clearance 5 years ago, and rubbed my tired face. The musty smell of the carpet mixed with the aroma of instant noodles that would be my dinner for the 3rd time that week. "Mark, you need to get your life together," I murmured to myself as I opened the first red envelope. My neighbor, Sarah, a 70-year-old woman who always treated me like a son, knocked on the door at that moment. "Mark, dear, I brought some soup I made today. You've been working so hard." "Sarah, you didn't have to," I replied, feeling a lump in my throat. "Actually, I don't even know how to thank you. Things haven't been easy." "I know, dear. I hear you coming home late every night. I remember when my late husband also." Before she could finish, my phone buzzed. It was the bank, yet again. The manager, with his monotonous voice, shot out, "Mr. Sullivan, we are calling about your credit card, that is." I know. "I'll make a payment next week, I promise," I replied, knowing it was just another empty promise. After I hung up, Sarah was still there, looking at me with those compassionate eyes. "You know, Mark, sometimes life feels like a dark tunnel. But there's always a light." "Not this time, Sarah. I got an eviction notice today. I have 30 days to leave the apartment." She held my hand, her soft wrinkles against my calloused skin from working so hard. "And what are you going to do?" "Honestly? I have no idea. I work 12 hours a day at that warehouse. I pick up overtime whenever I can, but it seems like the harder I work, the deeper I sink." That night, after Sarah left, I stared at the peeling ceiling of my room. The heater made a strange noise, probably another thing that needed fixing. On the wall, the calendar marked the days until the eviction, like a countdown to the end of the world, my world. How did I get here? I asked the silence. 38 years, and what do I have to show for it? A job that barely pays the bills, an apartment I'm about to lose, and debt that keeps growing. The distant sound of a siren cut through the night, and I wondered how many other people were lying awake at that moment, suffocated by financial worries, dreaming of an escape that seemed impossible to find. It was another lonely, cold night. After my shift at the warehouse, I flopped down on the couch and started scrolling through social media, my only escape from the brutal reality. That's when a video popped up on my feed, "How to Reprogram Your Mind to Attract Wealth." Normally, I would ignore that kind of content. Another one of those empty promises, I thought. But something in the presenter's sincere expression made me pause. Maybe it was desperation, maybe it was exhaustion, but I clicked. "Hello, I'm David Miller, and 3 years ago I was exactly where you are now," the presenter began. His next words caught me off guard, in debt, hopeless, thinking that working myself to death was my only fate. I sat up straighter on the couch. How did he know? "The law of attraction isn't magic," he continued. "It's a fundamental shift in how you see the world and, more importantly, how you see yourself." As I watched, my phone buzzed. It was a text from the bank about another interest charge. Ironically, that only made me pay more attention to the video. The next day, during my lunch break, I mentioned it to Mike, my coworker. "Hey, Mike, have you heard about this law of attraction thing?" He laughed, chewing on his sandwich. "Dude, my sister won't stop talking about it. Says it changed her life." "And do you believe it?" "Well, she managed to get out of debt in 6 months. She must have done something right. That conversation kept ringing in my head. On my way home, I stopped at a used bookstore I always passed but had never entered. The bell on the door jingled as I walked in, and an elderly lady smiled from behind the counter. "Can I help you, dear?" "Actually, I'm not quite sure what I'm looking for." She looked at me for a moment, as if she could read my soul. You know, sometimes books find us, not the other way around. As I walked among the dusty shelves, a thin, faded blue book fell at my feet, The Power of Creative Visualization. Price, $2. "This book has been here for years, waiting for the right person," the lady said, appearing silently beside me. "Maybe that's you." I flipped through the first pages, and one sentence jumped out at me: "What you believe is what you create." "I'll take it," I said, handing over my last $2 bill. The lady smiled. Sometimes the smallest amount can buy the greatest treasure. I left the store with a strange feeling in my chest. It was as if, for the first time in a long time, I could see a small light at the end of the tunnel. Small, distant, but definitely a light. I feel like a complete idiot looking at my reflection in the bathroom mirror at 5:30 in the morning. The deep dark circles under my eyes contradict every word I try to force out. "I am prosperous," I murmur, tasting the bitter lie. "I am abundant." My phone buzzes in my pocket. I ignore it. It buzzes again. It's the bank, I'm sure. What kind of prosperity is this if I can't even pay the basic bills? I think, splashing water on my face. At work, I try to focus on positive thoughts as the book suggests, but reality is relentless. Tony, my supervisor, walks past me carrying a stack of documents. "I need yesterday's reports in half an hour." "But you said it was for this afternoon." Change of plans. "And make sure you do a good job this time." My mind races. Visualize success, visualize abundance. What a joke. The only thing I can visualize is my desk increasingly piled up with work. During lunch, Mike notices my discouragement. "Still on that law of attraction thing?" "Trying, but it seems like the more I try to think positively, the more things go wrong." Rome wasn't built in a day, man. Rome had builders, Mike. I only have debts. At night, I finally gather the courage to answer the phone. "Mr. Mark? This is Sandra from the bank. About your credit card." I know. I'll pay as soon as. The deadline was 45 days ago. If we don't receive payment by tomorrow, we'll have to take action." I hang up the phone and look at the book on the table. The faded blue cover seems to mock me. I pick it up and almost throw it in the trash, but something stops me. How can I believe in something I can't see? I murmur to the empty room. I'm fooling myself here. Wasting time with fantasies while my life falls apart. I open the fridge, almost empty. Rent is overdue. Bills are piling up. And here I am, trying to manifest money like a madman. I sit on the worn-out sofa, holding my head in my hands. The words from the book echo in my mind, but now they feel empty, distant. Doubt weighs like a crushing weight on my chest. Maybe some people just weren't meant to be successful, I think, tasting the bitter flavor of defeat. Maybe I'm one of them. It was on a cold morning that everything changed. I had walked into the corner cafe to warm up before work, a luxury I couldn't afford, but I was freezing. While waiting for my coffee, I noticed the waitress wearing headphones, jotting something down in her notebook with a smile on her face. "Sorry for my curiosity," I asked when she brought my order, "but you seem so happy writing there." "Sarah, according to her name tag, smiled. I'm scripting. Ever heard of it? Script, what? Scripting. It's a manifestation technique. She took one of her headphones off. Want to hear a bit? She handed me one of the earbuds. It was a podcast called Manifest Your Reality. The host's voice was calm and convincing. Scripting is like writing the script of your life. Imagine you are the director of your own movie. What would the perfect scene look like? Write every detail as if it's happening right now. Sarah showed me her notebook. See? I write every day as if I already have my own cafe. I describe the customers, the aroma of fresh beans, even the sound of the coffee machine. And, does it work? I've saved half the money for my cafe, she winked. I started 6 months ago, writing on napkins. That night, I rummaged through my apartment until I found an old notebook. I sat at the kitchen table, staring at the blank page. Okay, here we go, I murmured to myself. What would it be like to have $1 million? I started slowly. Today I woke up in my soft sheets, feeling the sun coming through the window of my new apartment. The words began to flow. I described the smell of the leather in my new car, the sound of my shoes on the floor of the office where I would be a manager, the weight of the watch on my wrist. Each night, I added more details. A week later, Sarah asked me, "So, how's the scripting going?" You know what's strange? Even though nothing has changed yet, I feel different. It's because you're programming your brain to recognize opportunities, she smiled. Keep writing. The universe is reading every word. That night, I wrote for 2 straight hours. For the first time in years, I went to bed with a smile on my face. The dream still felt distant, but now I could see it clearly. And that, I discovered, made all the difference. After a month of practicing scripting every night, something strange began to happen. At first, it was small things, so small that I almost didn't notice. On an ordinary Tuesday, I opened my inbox and found an unexpected email. Dear Mark, we have identified a pending payment for your overtime in December. I had to read it 3 times to believe it. $478.50, money I didn't even know existed. It can't be a coincidence, I told Sarah during my usual breakfast. Keep writing, she smiled, pouring more coffee. The universe is just warming up. A week later, I received a call from the bank. Mr. Mark? This is Sandra again. We found an error in the calculations of the interest on your card. The actual amount of your debt is 30% lower. My hands trembled as I hung up. I rushed to my notebook and read what I had written the night before. My debts are decreasing in surprising and unexpected ways. At work, Tony stopped by my desk. Mark, I've noticed you've been coming in earlier. Yes, sir. And those reports, they're more organized. I've been trying harder. Well, keep it up. We're going to have a supervisor opening soon. That night, Mike called me. Dude, remember that data analysis course you wanted to take? The one that costs $800? Yeah, why? I found a 70% off coupon. It expires tomorrow. It was as if the universe was conspiring in my favor. Little signs, doors opening. In my notebook, the pages filled up more and more with details. They were no longer just dreams, they were real possibilities. I began to notice opportunities that had previously gone unnoticed. One night, rereading my early notes, I realized how much I had changed. It wasn't just about money. It was about believing I deserved more. Sarah noticed the change. Your eyes look different, she commented one day. Brighter. It's because now I see possibilities where I used to see only problems. That's pure manifestation, she smiled. Keep writing your story. And I did. Every little victory was fuel for my faith. Every synchronicity, a sign that I was on the right path. For the first time in my life, I wasn't just surviving, I was creating my future, one page at a time. It was an ordinary Thursday when my phone rang. Unknown number. Mark? This is Daniel from Tech Future. Do you remember me? Of course I remembered. 3 years ago, I had helped that small startup with some programming projects. They didn't have money at the time, so they gave me a tiny stake in the company. Dan. It's been a while. Mark, I need you to sit down. My heart raced. I sat on the edge of the bed. Tech Future has been bought. For $100 million. Okay. My voice faltered. Your 1% stake means $1 million, Mark. $1 million. The room started to spin. My hands trembled so much that I almost dropped the phone. This can't be real. It's real. The deposit will be made on Monday. I need your bank details.
After hanging up, it was frozen. I grabbed my script in notebook and opened it to the first page. There it was, written 3 months ago. $1 million will come to me in an unexpected way through an old investment. I ran to the cafe where Sarah worked. It was closed, but she was still there, cleaning the tables. Sarah? She opened the door, worried. Mark? What happened? I showed her the page from the notebook, then told her about the call. She hugged me, crying with me. See? The universe was listening to every word. That night, sitting alone in my apartment, I could sleep. It wasn't about the estimate of the money. It was something deeper. I took my notebook and started to write. The greatest miracle was the $1 million. It was realizing that I always had this power within me. Every word I wrote, every visualization, every moment of faith, was transforming me. Money is just an external reflection of an internal change. My phone rang. It was Mike. Dude, are you okay? Your message sounded emotional. Mike, remember when you said you was crazy with this manifestation thing? Yeah. Well, I guess the craziness spied off. I looked out the window. The city shone under the night sky. Somewhere, there was another Mark, no longer the desperate and disbelieving one, but one who started his own manifestation story. Money is amazing, I whispered to myself, but true wealth is knowing that we can create our own reality. Today, sitting in my office overlooking the city, I take my old script in notebook. The pages are yellowed, some stained with coffee. I smile as I read my early notes, so full of hope and fear at the same time. Sarah still works at the cafe, now as a partner. Every morning, I have my coffee there and we talk. You know what's funny? She said to me today. You've changed so much, but you still have that sparkle in your eyes from when you started writing. It's because I finally understood that money was just a part of the story. And it's true. The $1 million changed my financial situation, yes. But the real transformation happened long before that call from Daniel. It happened when I stopped seeing myself as a victim. It happened when I started to believe I deserved more. It happened every night I sat down to write, even when I was tired. Yesterday, a young woman approached me after a lecture. How did you do it? She asked, her eyes brimming with tears. I'm so afraid to drown. I took a napkin and wrote, fear doesn't go away. You just learn that your dreams are stronger than it, but what if it doesn't work out? What if it does? I smiled. I'll let you in on a secret. Manifestation is about doing magic. It's about becoming the person who achieves what they desire. This morning, I received a message from her. She had bought a notebook and started her own scripting. Mike, my skeptical friend, recently admitted, I still don't totally believe in this manifestation thing, but you're different. Lighter, more confident. It's because I stopped fighting against life and started dancing with it. I look at my reflection in the office window. I see the same mark from before, but with different eyes. Eyes that have learned to see possibilities where they once saw obstacles. The truth is, money didn't bring happiness, it brought freedom. Freedom to choose, to create, to help others. My new notebook is always with me. I still write every day. Not because I need to manifest more money, but because I learned that our thoughts are seeds. And every word we write is a seed planted in the garden of tomorrow. To you who are listening to this now, your story is also waiting to be written. It doesn't matter where you are, what matters is where you want to go. Grab a pen, open a notebook. Start today. Because the greatest manifestation is what you receive, it's who you become in the process. Inspiring, stay it? Now it's your turn. What is the first step you're going to take to manifest your reality? Write in the comments. If this story touched you, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss more content like this. Let's create a life of abundance and transformation together. Until the next video.